The Chinese government says it's good news. Weakest perhaps, yes, but relatively still very strong. Remember, just this week, Christine Lagarde, the head of the International Monetary Fund, or IMF, she announced here in Washington projections of 3.2% for global growth. So the Chinese numbers announced on Friday are still more than double that figure. And the people that I spoke to at the IMF World Bank spring meetings being held just down the street from us, they said that they remain optimistic about China.
When you look at the securities industry, there are a number of different areas, particularly the futures industry, where they just are only going to begin to advance forward. People are looking at the, what is the People's Bank of China going to do? Nations such as Nigeria and other emerging market players are beginning to bring the yuan into the reserve currencies, and I believe that's just an indication as far as the opportunities going forward. So we're very, very optimistic at the AI Group with regards to where China's going.
Now, China's own growth projections for this year are between 6.5% and 7%, so that figure, 6.7, falls in line with that forecast. And according to officials in Beijing, it does suggest that China's economy is shifting, that it's changing, but that it needs help along the way.
After China's economic growth entered a state of new normal, it's not enough to just care at growth rate. More attention should be attached to structural improvement and to coordination and quality of economic growth. Only in this way can people grasp China's economic trend.
Investments in industrial assets and infrastructure, they jumped surprisingly by more than 10%. Also, consumer spending, rose. Retail sales just for the month of March showed a jump again of more than 10%. All of these are indications that the economy is indeed transforming to one that's dominated by exports. One that is not dominated by exports, to one that is led by consumption. And that's been a goal for a long time of Beijing. The Chinese will admit it's not been an easy ride. In fact, last month, Premier Li Keqiang told the Chinese parliament that China will, quote, face more and tougher problems and challenges in its development this year, and that China must be, quote, fully prepared to fight a difficult battle. Now, in recent months, we've seen weak performance in various sectors and in the financial markets trigger spikes in government lending, specifically cheap financing for projects aimed at stimulating the economy. Experts say that may be inflating some of these growth figures. It's unclear how long China can sustain such lending policies, so many people are closely watching for any changes that may be coming out of Beijing in the near future.